How's it going, everybody? We're here with NBA segment. I'm Tommy, this is Elie, and we're going to start off with the MVP race. Who you got for MVP so far?
I know a lot of people are going to be looking at Shea for this pick, but I'm going at Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. I think that voter fatigue is his biggest competition this year. He's already won it twice, 2 years in a row, and I think the voters, the fans are kind of sick of it. But if you look at the numbers, he is the most valuable player. He's top 3 in points, assists, and rebounds, and no player has finished top 3 in those 3 categories since 1969. And if you want to do some more advanced stats, the Nuggets, have an offensive rating of 120 when Jokic is on the court. When he's off the court, they are bottom 5 in the NBA in offensive rating. I don't know what other stats you need to prove to you that Jokic is the MVP.
That's hard to argue with, and obviously Jokic is the best center in the game. There's no debating that, even as a Joel Embiid guy myself. But Shea, like you mentioned, 31 points a game. His team is the #1 team in the West. They're 7 games above the second team, the second seed in the West, which is the Nuggets. And while Jokic doesn't have as much to work with, you could argue, I do think that Shea it's his time. Last year he was second, and I think that, like you said, voter fatigue. Jokic has 3 MVPs total now, back to back, like you mentioned. There's only a couple of guys, handful of guys ever in the history of basketball that have 4 MVPs, and I don't know if Jokic is at that level of like a Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem. So I think it, like you said, is going to be kind of a narrative thing that since Shea has led the team to back-to-back #1 seeds, if it keeps going like this, that it'll be his award.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the next award here is the one that we actually agree on. Defensive Player of the Year, I have Victor Wembanyama winning that. I will say before that I want to highlight something that Jalen Williams, forward for the OKC Thunder, said, and he said that there should be 2 Defensive Players of the Years, one for a center, a big man, and one for a perimeter player. And I really agree with that because if you think about it, in the most valuable playoff games, what do you look for? You look for perimeter defense. You know, you can't be on the floor if you're a liability on defense. And perimeter defense and being a point of attack defender is one of the most difficult and most valued things in the NBA. And like Jalen Williams said, it seems like they just give it to the guy that has the most blocks and rebounds and all that. And while it's true that they do sometimes give it to the guy with just the most blocks, I think this is the case where Wembanyama does actually deserve it. He's averaging almost 4 blocks a game, and his opponents are shooting less than 47% at the rim when he is there. So it's basically impossible to score on him.
I don't disagree with you about the 2 Defensive Player of the Years. I also think that it makes a big difference in the playoffs. We saw it for 3-4 years in a row, Rudy Gobert winning Defensive Player of the Year, but then not being able to be on the floor in the playoffs because teams were exposing him. It's no longer Rudy Gobert's time. It is Wemby's time. He has an 8-foot wingspan. If you're trying to drive down the lane and get a lay over him, it's not going to be easy. And like you mentioned, 4 blocks a game is, I think, top 20 all time if he continues on this pace. So I think that also when you see the Spurs having the 24th ranked defense when he's not on the floor and the 6th when he is on the floor, that tells you all you need to know about his value on the defensive end. So I think it's got to be Wemby, and he's a huge favorite right now.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, who do you have for Rookie of the Year?
I don't want to beat a dead horse about how bad this rookie class is because it is really bad. It should be Jared McCain. Shout out Jared McCain. Unfortunately got hurt. But right now I would go Alex Sarr for the Washington Wizards. He's only averaging 12 points a game, which kind of gets back to the point about how bad this rookie class is, that the Washington Wizards are the worst team in the league, don't have a lot of talent, and their best player is this rookie who's averaging 12 points a game other than Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. But who do you have?
I'm going with the number 39th pick from this past year's draft. I'm going with forward from the Memphis Grizzlies, Jalen Wells. I like an underdog story, and he's a second-round pick. He's going to try to become the second-round pick in this lottery era to win Rookie of the Year. Malcolm Brogdon won in 2017. But he has the stats to back it up, almost 12 points per game, 43% from the field, 38% from 3. But I think what's more important is that with the injuries that the Grizzlies have had to Marcus Smart, he's had to really pick up the slack defensively. And I've watched a lot of Grizzlies game, and I see him guarding LeBron, Harden, Luka, Kyrie. He's my pick for Rookie of the Year. Last one right here, who is your most improved player?
Most improved player is tough. There's a lot of ways to look at that. I got to go Cade Cunningham, Detroit Pistons. They had 14 wins all year last season. They already have 22 now in mid-January. He's averaging 25, 9, and 6. And he's the main reason why their team is doing so much better this season. He's really taken a step up, but who do you have?
I have Dyson Daniels. He past 2 years on the bench in New Orleans, gets traded in that DeJounte Murray trade, and he's really helped this Hawks defense. Last year they were 27th, now they're 20th. He's number 1 in the NBA in leagues by a long shot, and he's been a defensive monster this year, easily a first-team defensive player. So I have Dyson Daniels for my most improved player.
Well, thank you everyone for being here, and we're going to throw it to the AFC and NFC championship games predictions.